What celebrities are actually assholes IRL? I read an interview with two sound techs who had worked with dozens of big-name stars over the years. They were asked who was the nicest celeb to work with, and they both agreed Robin Williams after some discussion. When asked who was the biggest jerk, they both immediately said Dr. Phil. Mariah Carey. She came to my place of work once and was a nightmare the entire time. The way she talked to both her own team and my team was horrendous. Jeff Beck. My dad was a big fan of his until about 20 years ago. When he saw him on tour, he got a pretty decent spot towards the front of the crowd. During a bit of riffing that he was doing in between proper songs, one of his monitors broke. He gestured to it in a "this shit's broken" kind of way, and a roadie ran out to fix it. I guess Jeff was just complaining about it as opposed to wanting someone to fix it. And I guess he expected the roadie to just somehow telepathically know that. Because when the roadie came out and knelt down in front of it to see if he could fix it, Jeff Beck kicked him off of the stage. Like, foot planted in small of back. Shoved. Roadie tumbled off the stage 4 feet to the concrete floor. My dad said he waited to see if the roadie got up okay. He did. The dude seemed fine. And then he immediately left his spot and walked out of the venue. Hasn't listened to any of his music since then. I saw Liv Tyler walk into an art exhibit at the MoMA that was one person at a time. The wait was literally 4 to 5 hours to get in, and people would show up hours before the gallery opened to see it. When Liv Tyler walked in, she cut in front of everyone and told the guard that she was next. He told her she was not. That accommodations could be made ahead of time for busy people or VIPs. But that she couldn't just cut in front of everyone with no warning. She threw a fit and argued with him about who she was. He just shrugged and she stormed off. About 20 minutes later, Orlando Bloom showed up. Guard told him the same thing and he said, "That's fair. I totally get it," and spent some time signing autographs. Class act, that one. Jennifer Lopez. A friend of mine waited on her and her entourage. She made ridiculous demands, threw fits over bottled water, hogged her table for 3 hours, and then didn't even tip. And I know my friend is a great server. I've read many times over that apparently Steven Seagal is not only a huge douche but quite the nasty person as well. Surprised I haven't seen him yet. R. Kelly seems like a safe answer for this one. I worked at a famous theme park in California with a rodent as its mascot. I worked in the stores. These are the celebrities that I would rank from nieces to most like an asshole. 1. Heidi Klum. She visited the park with her family and she was very polite. She came in really early because it was the only time she could shop without people bothering her too much. Her kids actually came up to the register and I rung up their purchases and said please and thank you. Another family was in the store and asked Heidi for a picture and she said yes, which was really cool. And yes, Heidi is as pretty in real life and she is on TV. Point 2. Mitt Romney. He came with his family right after he lost the election to Obama. I don't like his politics, but he was polite and he shook hands with everyone who came up to him. 3. Professional athletes. I am not a big sports person, but people would point out they were on so and so team. A lot of them came to the park with their family and some even came with their kids solo. They would joke around a lot and they always dressed raggedy so people would not recognize them. They would always ask stuff like, "Is this ride scary?" 4. Sarah Hyland, aka Haley Dunphy. I don't know how you spell it. She came to the parks with her boyfriend, the one who beat her a lot. She would always buy all the Disney clothes and mouse ears and stuff like that. She was always nice and got to know some of the cast members by name. 5. Sarah Michelle Gellar. I butchered that name. And Freddie Prinze Jr. They came to the parks a lot and they always brought their twin girls. At first glance they would look like every other family. They always wore sunglasses and hats to avoid being bothered. They did not like small talk. 6. Ryan Gosling. Dude liked Disneyland a lot. He would often take women on dates there during the week during slow season. He would often close down a ride so only him and his date would enter. He never went into the stores or restaurants. 7. Christina Aguilera. She was a total drama queen. She always had an entourage of like 20 people around her and she literally would go backstage to avoid crowds. Her entourage would go into shops and restaurants and be like, "I'll pay later," and take a bunch of shit. She would also yell at everyone if she didn't get her way. Honorable mentions: people I have never met, but had co-workers tell stories about. Adam Sandler is a super cool dude. He loves making jokes and taking pictures with his fans. Kobe Bryant. He was very nice. He wasn't super outgoing, but he was the type if you said hi, he would say hi back. Chris Hemsworth. The guy is really nice and likes to do everything himself. He likes to order his own food, buy his own souvenirs, and he was not stuck up and pretentious at all. Boomer Esiason. I'm sure hardly anyone here will know who he is, but he's a gigantic dick. He's a washed-up, forgettable NFL quarterback that played for the Cardinals for a short period of time years ago. I was 9 when I met him and didn't even really know who he was. But I got the chance to meet and get an autograph from an actual professional athlete, so I was pretty stoked. It was right after my dad died, and my aunt took a few of my brothers and me to this event where Boomer was at signing autographs. To give my mom a much-needed break, everyone got like an 8x10 picture of Boomer at the beginning of the line to get signed. My aunt didn't really want to wait, so I asked to have her picture to get it signed for my mom. Wasn't sure if she knew who he was either, but I just wanted to do something for her because she had been in a bad place after my dad passing away. I finally get to Boomer, said hello and placed the 2 pictures of himself in front of him. 2? I'm not freaking signing 2, dude. What if everyone in this line had 2 pictures for me to sign? Huh? What makes you so special? Quote. He just stared at me, waiting for an answer. I was shocked and so embarrassed that I just stood there, open-mouthed, wide-eyed, and shrugged my shoulders. "Yay, that's what I thought," he said right before he scribbled his name on one of the pictures and snapped both of them back to me. I just walked off. I didn't even know what had just happened. I never really even told anyone either. For a long time, I really didn't know if I had actually done something wrong there. I know now that he was a prick to a kid for no reason. Boomer Esiason. If you're out there and read this, from the bottom of my heart, with all my soul, fuck you. Alec Baldwin. Chris Brown. I worked in the TV industry for 10 years. I had bad and good experiences with a few people, and I won't name them because those were my experiences. But one experience shocked me because it wasn't to just me but a group of about 10 plus. Michael Bublé. He was shooting a video on the lot I was working at. I, like the other people at that moment, whipped out my phone and waited to hear cut to snap a pic. Was gonna send a pic to mom, who is a fan. They yelled cut, and Michael Bublé turned around with a beautiful actress on his arm, stood in front of us all and said to the actress, "Look at all those stupid morons." We all looked at each other wide-eyed, turned around, and went back to work. I felt bad mostly for one older guy in particular because he seemed the most excited to see him. My old boss told me Nicolas Cage was a major asshole. He would come to a restaurant in New Orleans he worked at and be rude as hell to staff. Didn't tip much and had to be placed in one of their huge banquet rooms by himself and did not want to be bothered at all unless he called a phone requesting service. He said no one could stand waiting on him because of how ridiculous he was to staff and how he had to be basically treated like royalty in his eyes. Floyd Mayweather. Didn't meet him personally, but my brother did. Works as GM at a luxury resort. Said he was easily the biggest boss he ever met. And he met many. The Property Brothers. The number of times I heard them say, "Do you know who we are?" was near ungodly. I was super disappointed by this one weary note. Sorry for the double post. I used to work in an industry where I met a lot of celebrities, so I've had a lot of interesting run-ins. Conor McGregor. I've heard lots about Ellen. She doesn't care about any of the people working on her show. Jimmy Fallon though. He paid all the people working on his show during quarantine because the studio didn't. Jimmy is cool. Be more like Jimmy. Mike from American Pickers. Dropped massive antique doors needing expensive restoration with a small company near me. Was quoted. Agreed. The work was done. He ignored their requests to pick the finished doors up for like 6 months and then offered them half of what he owed or they could kick rocks. What a dick. Paul fucking Anka as a grand tool amongst grand tools. Just a story I heard about Kevin James being a dick. When he went to a restaurant he insisted that the server could only talk to his assistant. When the server addressed Kevin directly he got pissed off.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmericanOnTheRight is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.